Hey, 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 hey. I hope y'all are doing good. All right, I'm just hanging out, waiting for everybody to get on. Hey there. How you doing? Hey, Rumble C. Good to see you guys. The Nana. I'm glad to see you. Good to see you. Hey, y'all. Hey. What's going on? My 11-year-old Jude is standing here because he got me situated. He got me set up. I am simultaneously recording this on another device so that I can try to post it because I get asked about this. For those of you that are joining me, let's see, there are about 900 of us on so far. I'm assuming many of you have logged in because you saw I did a little post that said we were going to talk about hair. Not theology, not Bible study, not spiritual disciplines, but hair. And that's because hair is ministry. How about that? So we're going to talk about hair. I've been asked to do it for a very long time, to do a little live to just talk about hair. So I decided today, while I have on this green shirt, thank you very much, Lynn Wallace. You said that you like the green. I'd like to say thank you. Today I had to I loved doing a session on discerning the voice of God for an online conference, and I had the best time. So while I looked halfway decent in my good shelter in place situation, I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and do this live. So let me give everybody a chance to hop on. Good to see you guys. Hey, from Nigeria. Hope you guys are doing good. Thank you, Carolyn. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, Manda Fort. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are very kind. Hey, okay. So I'm gonna just jump right into the reason why we have all gathered together today. I started having to every now and then explain some things about my hair 20 years ago when I decided that I was going to go natural. For those of you that might be unaware of what that means, because maybe you are our vanilla sisters and you don't know what it means to go natural, I'm going to explain all of that, explain what the process was for me, what it looked like. And there are some spiritual threads that run rampant through for me and for many women of all hair types and every color and every race, every hair texture. There is such a security issue that can be tied to our hair, particularly for Black women in a culture that historically has not valued all of our curly headed glory. So we're going to talk about all that. Okay, is everybody here? Laura. Hey, Crystal. Hey there, you watched my live session on hair previously. So what was that? Maybe 2 years ago or a year ago? So I'm glad you did. Every now and then I have a Saturday like today. Is today Saturday? Yeah. A Saturday like today. You know, our quarantine days are running together at this point. But every now and then we have an opportunity, like I have an opportunity to just be on an afternoon. I'm like, I'm going to do it today. The hair conversation. And then I'll leave time to answer some questions too, as I'm able to do that, okay? Hey there, good to see you from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Good to see you guys. All right, I'm gonna jump in, y'all. And I could spend the whole time just saying hello to everybody. White girl mama with mixed hair babies. Girl, I got you. We're gonna talk about the whole situation, okay? Because it's a situation. And I appreciate you for being here because that means you acknowledge the fact that it is a situation and you need to be educated a little bit about the situation. So thank you for being here. All right, I see your questions. I'm going to try to answer those. All right, so let me start by telling you a little bit about my hair story. A lot of women of color call it their hair story because we all know what it's like to have gone through some of the seasons that we've had to go through with our hair and what that has meant, the damage it sometimes has caused, not only externally, but to our self-esteem as well. And I have gone through this too. So I'm going to share a little bit of that. I got a relaxer when I was about 12, 13 years old. For Black women, a rites of passage, so to speak, into womanhood was when we got to get a relaxer, when we got to get a perm. Now, for those of you who don't know, a perm for a Black woman means the exact opposite of what it means for a white woman or a woman with a straight textured hair. So whereas a perm for a woman with a straight textured hair will cause it to be curly, for a woman like myself who has an afro texture hair, what it does is it straightens the hair, but it straightens it by breaking down the hair follicle. Now I need to tell you guys as I go into this, y'all are gonna have to Be patient with me because I'm a little scattered in all the things I want to say. I didn't really organize a full on message or anything like that about this. I'm just kind of randomly talking. So forgive me if I stray every now and then. But I am not a hairstylist. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a chemist. I'm not any of those things. I'm just a girl who has curly textured hair, and I've walked through some seasons with my hair. So just hang in there with me. And if I don't say everything correctly, don't worry about it. Thank you, Natanjari Pascaline, something like that. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. So thank y'all for giving me a pass in that regard. Thank you, Justin. Justina, I think. Take your time. I will take my time, girl. So anyway, what a chemical relaxer does for curly textured hair women is it breaks down our hair shaft to make it straight. So throughout the 80s, I was about to say the 70s, but really the 80s and the 90s strong, you saw a lot of African-American women with their hair straight. Most Black women wore their hair straightened, and the way it was straightened was by a relaxer. A relaxer it's a white, almost looks like white glue or paste, and it's put on most of you already know this, some of you may not, so be patient with me while I describe it. It's put on the roots of our hair so that as our hair grows out, we tame the new growth that grows out of our hair and put that chemical on it that breaks down the hair shaft. All right, this is all well and fine the first couple times you do it. But once you do this every 6 weeks, every 8 weeks, because like clockwork, we was up in that hair salon getting our hair relaxed like clockwork. This is something that you did not miss, okay? Yes, it doesn't smell great. It actually smells like a chemical. It smells like you're putting a chemical on your hair. After it's sitting there for about 15 minutes might be long. It's been so long since I've gotten one. I don't remember how long we would let it sit on there. Some of you may be able to remind us. But after like 10 or 12, 15 minutes, it would literally burn your scalp. So I need you to get the picture here. For years and for decades, Black women were putting chemicals on their hair that we knew was strong enough to actually burn our scalp. And once that was rinsed out of our hair, oftentimes we would walk out of the beauty shop. I would walk out of the beauty shop with actual literal burns on my scalp. Okay, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, go ahead and just say amen, put your hand up, something, because I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Your scalp, your skin literally has burn marks on it if it's left on too long. And a lot of times that happened. These chemicals obviously were not just on our hair, but because it was on our scalp. We know now that those chemicals actually go into your body because you have pores on your scalp. So at the time you're doing this though, our society was so accentuating and highlighting the beauty of straight hair that I was willing to do it because it's just what we did. We tamed our hair so that it in its natural state wasn't seen. We did everything we could to mask that. And so we would have scabs. I see somebody saying that we'd have scabs on our hair. I had scabs on my head. And over time, as you were putting these relaxers in your hair and it keeps on breaking down your hair so that it's no longer kinky and coily and ziggly and zaggy, but it's straight and flattened out. After you do that over and over and over again, it begins to damage your hair. So a lot of times, again, we've seen a lot of women that have curly textured hair, particularly Black women with short hair. We have been convinced for a long time that our hair doesn't grow, that our hair can't grow. But really a lot of it was that we were breaking it down so much and putting such harsh chemicals on it that it doesn't even have an opportunity. It doesn't even have an opportunity to thrive, even if it wanted to. So I started that, my little rites of passage, getting a chemical relaxer. I started that when I was about 13 years old, because that was what we did. A lot of us waited until we were going into our teenage years, and then our mama told us we could do it. After she had been, using the pressing comb all the years before on the stove, not the kind that plugged in. They didn't have all that back then. It was just you sat by the stove, your mom turned a burner on, she put a hot pressing comb on that thing, and then she ironed out your hair. And so my sweet mom did that for me and my sister too, for special occasions. And then I got a perm and thought I was grown. Ooh, thought I was grown with that perm in my hair. So I did that until I was 24 years old. And this is really where my hair story really began to change. When I was 24 years old, again, so not for the first time, but again, I was looking at my hair and it just wasn't doing well. It was breaking off. It was damaged. Right over here, I'll never forget, but right here in my scalp, there was a patch of hair about the size of a, I was about to show my age and say a silver dollar. Ain't nobody seen no silver dollar in a long time, but it wasn't a quarter size. It's a little bit bigger than that. It was just broken off. It was like a circle of hair that you couldn't see because of a lot of our damage. You can't see. You know it's there. Ooh, if this ain't a spiritual lesson, I don't know what is. You know it's there. Other people can't see it. So you just sort of hide it. You keep combing over the damage that is there. I know y'all, I know that there are some women here that know exactly what I'm talking about. So you just sort of keep covering up the damage. And right under here, when I was 24 years old, again, I had a circular patch of hair that was only about this long. It had broken off. And at the time, I had just gotten married. And I had just gotten on some medication, and I went to my doctor because I assumed it was the medication that I was on. And I went to this doctor. She's still my doctor to this day. She is a sweet, wonderful woman who, she and I are so close friends now. She is a white woman with straight hair. And I went to her and I said, I think the medicine you might have put me on to prepare for marriage. So you might know what medication I'm referring to. But I said, you know, this might not be the one for me. I might have to get on another one because I can see something's going on with my hair. So my sweet white doctor sat me down on her, examining table there. And she searched out the spot that I was talking about, which was right over here, over my ear. She looked at it a little bit, and I remember her kind of feeling around on it. And then she took a couple strands of my hair elsewhere and she pulled it. She pulled it out. She did one from here. She did one from back here. She did another one from here. And she pulled out another one even in that spot. She pulled them all out. And she saw that the bulb of the root was on each one of the hairs she had pulled out. So she could see that the root was fine on each of the hairs. So she said, Priscilla, I don't think that there's anything wrong with your hair. She said, I can see that they're not breaking off. They're coming out by the root. I'm looking at your follicles, your roots, and I can see that your roots are actually strong. So she said, what that tells me is that it's not something that's going on inside of your body. It's actually something you're doing to your hair once it comes out of your body. So my sweet little innocent, in terms of these things, hair and black women and their hair, she looked back at me and she said, what do you do to your hair after it comes out of your head? That's what she said. So I said to her, well, girl, I get a relaxer. But what black woman doesn't get a relaxer? This is like 99, 2000, okay, the year 2000. So this is 20 years ago. I said, I get a relaxer. And she said, is that a chemical? I said, yeah, it's a chemical. It has lye in it, L-Y-E. It's the main ingredient. She said, it definitely is the chemical you're putting on your hair after your hair is coming out of your head. In other words, the way God is growing the hair is fine. It's what you're doing to it after it comes out of your head. That's the problem. And every now and then, y'all, if you don't mind, because you know I can't help it, I got to just pause and give you a little spiritual principle. Because God gives us so many, he gives us our lives. And we're the ones that damage them. And then we blame him like he did it. He's like, no, I grew the thing right. It's after I gave it to you, the relationship or the job or the ministry or the whatever. It's after I gave it to you. It's what you did after I gave it to you that actually is causing the damage that you need me now to deal with. So anyway, back to the story. Just take that, receive that if that's for you. If it ain't for you, then it ain't for you. So the doctor said to me, what I need you to do is I need you to stop getting a relaxer for the next 6 months. Come on now. Y'all know that I had no interest in being obedient to that. I was looking at my sweet doctor who loves me and I love her. We're still close friends to this day. And I actually wrote about her in a book called Radiant. If you don't know about Radiant, it's a book that I wrote on self-esteem for women. And chapter 2 is all about hair, okay? Because there are so many elements of self-image and self-esteem that I wanted to write toward in regards to who God says that we are in our identity. And I couldn't leave out what the Lord taught me in regards to my own hair. So chapter 2 is about that. And I wrote about Dr. Diane in chapter 2. So if y'all are wondering, if you've read that book and you're wondering, is this that doctor? Yes, it's that doctor. So she said to me, you got to stop getting a relaxer for 6 months. Girl, I look back at her like, you done lost your whole mind if you think that I'm finna not get a relaxer. In the 90s and 2000s, early 2000s, Black women weren't not getting a relaxer. That wasn't happening. That's what we did. We did it. We would sit in the beauty shop for hours on Saturday if we had to get it done. So, and we did sit in the beauty shop for hours, by the way. So anyway, I left the doctor's office that day with her guidelines. Stop the relaxer for 6 months. Let's see if everything turns around with your hair. I left with absolutely no desire, no willingness, no intent on being obedient. I mean, I just left like, she don't know what she's talking about, and I'm not doing that. No interest in being obedient. I got in my car. I'll never forget this day. I got in my car and I started driving home. Something happened on the 25-minute drive between between the doctor's office and me going home. It is one of those moments that I will never forget because there are several times in my life where I just remember God moving in and making something as superficial and as natural as hair or some element, just in regular life, making it really personal and spiritual to me. This was one of those times. I was driving home and it occurred to me, and I know now this is the Holy Spirit, it occurred to me that if my doctor had said to me, I need you to stop eating fried foods because I can tell that your arteries are clogging and you might have a heart attack. If she would have said to me some other directive that had to do with my physical health, I would have listened. I would have said, okay, I'm going to stop smoking, or I'm going to stop eating fried foods, or I've got to stop using that chemical on my skin because it's actually causing something to go wrong. If she would have said to me anything else, I would have obeyed her because I trusted my doctor, still trust that doctor with my health. Why was it that I was so attached to straight hair that I was willing to continue to damage myself to get it? What was it that was so important to me about having my hair straight that I was willing to forego my actual health in order to maintain this standard of what had been called beautiful? I'm telling y'all, this thing hit me like a brick as I was driving home. It hit me like a brick. Am I really willing to keep on doing what the doctor is telling me is the problem just because I want straight hair that bad? And what's wrong with my view of my intrinsic value and beauty that I'm willing to do that? So as I drove home, this was all occurring to me on the way home. The Lord was really dealing with me. I felt so convicted and challenged. And I pulled off off of Highway 35 in Dallas, Texas. I pulled off on Illinois. Illinois is the exit that led to Wynwood Village. Wynwood Village is still there, but Wynwood Village used to have a African-American bookstore in it called Joe Kay's Bookstore. I miss small boutique mom and pop bookstores. I really do. There were great Christian bookstores and great African-American bookstores. This was one of them. I drove straight to that bookstore. I asked them, do you have a section on black hair? And they led me around to one little shelf, one little corner of the shelf where they had books lined up on black hair. Now, of course, here we are 20 years later. There are so many resources available to you and to me to help us manage our hair. There are so many products that were not available in 1995 or available in 2000. I'm telling you, there were probably 10 books that were available to me, not shelves and shelves of books. And that's a blessing that it's available now because so many people have seen the importance of helping, each other to steward curly hair. I grabbed a few of those books off the shelf. I still have them. I'm so sorry that I don't have them to show you right now. But it doesn't matter because you can just now look up hair that you want or books that you want on natural hair. There are so many options available to you. And I grabbed those books and I took them straight to my mom's house. I went straight to my mom and dad's house instead of going home, okay? Because I'm having this whole internal crisis, okay? I go straight home to my mom and dad's, same house they raised me in. And I grabbed my mom's photo albums. She is a prolific keeper, was a prolific keeper of photo albums. Am I taking too long, y'all? I hope I'm not. I'm telling y'all the whole story. I hope I'm not boring you, okay? Forgive me if I am. Hang in there with me. I looked through my mom's photo albums. She kept tons of photo albums. We have them from when we were all growing up, and I have them too. Oh, thank y'all for saying that I'm not boring you. I appreciate that. I feel like I'm being long-winded. I'm like my mom in that way. I have photo albums from all the years of my kid's life and all that. So she got the regular photo albums, like our parents used to keep, photo albums with actual pictures in them. And I grabbed the ones from when I was pre-relaxer. So like 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. I opened up these books and looked at myself. And I saw these huge, thick ponytails. Huge, thick ponytails on either side of my head. And I felt my own hair, which at the time had a little bit of length on it, but it was real scraggly and thin and didn't have any body and didn't have any, excuse me, that's the doorbell. It just was so thin. I could gather up all of my hair in this tiny little ponytail. But in my pictures, it went from when I was little, I had these huge ponytails like this. You remember when you used to have the little rubber band thingy with the balls at the top right here, and then you had 2 little balls at the bottom of your ponytails, and your ponytails would be swinging on either side, and these big old thick plaits on either side of my head. That's what I saw. And I remember feeling my hair, and I was like, that's me in the picture. That means I have hair. I have the potential to have healthy hair. But this ain't it. I mean, it was so thin. My ponytail was completely gone. And it just started to weigh on me. Am I really going to sacrifice my own health? The health that God has given me with my hair? Am I going to sacrifice my continued health as an adult woman now because I want straight hair that bad? And I started to pray about it. And this is what I want to encourage you guys to do too. If you're considering, I'm telling you my hair story, but you realize this ain't just about hair. This was the thing God used for me to help me begin to see clearly the areas of my life where I lacked a sense of significance that was rooted in Him, a sense of beauty because of the beauty He's given me, the intrinsic value that He's invested in me, that I don't have to look like her or act like her or be shaped like her. This could be about your figure. This could be about your hair. Yes. This could be about your skin color, that God has created you the way you're supposed to be created. Why is it? And I know why, partially, because we live in a culture that so celebrates certain kinds of beauty, certain kinds of appearances, certain sizes, certain styles, that we slowly start to lose ourselves because we start masking our real self and acquiescing to what someone else has determined was beautiful. And, for me, all throughout high school, I was a cheerleader in high school, and we had one of them serious teams where we were like in national competitions, and so we didn't just do football games and basketball games and stuff. We won like national championship cheerleading things. So you had to be not only just in uniform, you had to be uniform like for real. And our hair had to be uniform. And I remember that our hair had to be in a ponytail, and it had this big bow that was at the top, and it was part of the way it had to be. So for me, as a Black girl, coming into this system that had decided that the uniform is something that actually don't even work for me. My hair don't even fit in that barrette. But to make it fit in that barrette, I've got to now straighten it and put this chemical on it so that I just meld in a little bit more and a little bit more. And we live in a culture, not just in America, but in other cultures as well, where we don't even recognize the slow, progressive way that we begin to quiet our natural the way God made us, our natural inclinations. This could be even for your personality that we're talking about, that you've started to quiet your God-given personality because the construct you're in has determined that that's not good enough, or that's not the way it should be. So you don't even know who you are anymore. For me, I hadn't even seen my natural hair at that point in over a decade. I didn't even know what it looked like anymore. I was looking at my mom's pictures of me with those big plaits. I hadn't seen those plaits in years. So by the time I left my mom's house and I got back to my own house, I was done. I cannot tell you what happened to me other than God so convicted me and challenged me and lovingly, graciously reminded me, Priscilla, the way I made you's okay. You all right. Be you. Do you. And I felt the Holy Spirit like just whisper to me a little bit and say, if you will give me what you damaged. I didn't damage it. You damaged it. But here's how the grace and mercy of God is so astounding. He lets us give back to him what we messed up. And then somehow in his grace and his mercy, he gives it back to us better than we had it in the first place anyway. That was what I felt sort of was the promise to me. Priscilla, if you will give me back what you damaged, I'll give it back to you. I'll give it back to you in an astounding way. So I did. That was the last time I ever got a relaxer. I think I was about 2 weeks away from my retouch. At the time I went to see the doctors, I was about 2 weeks away, okay? And y'all know, once you start getting about 2 weeks to retouch date, you start feeling them roots, they coming back in, you're anxious to go ahead and get back to the beauty salon and get all this stuff situated. And so I could see the time coming. And at the time, I was married. I was 1 year into my marriage. I had married my husband with straight hair. I think it was about chin length or so at the time. So he was used to a woman that had some hair on her head and had a relaxer. And so for those of you that are married, please don't get off this live and decide to do what I'm telling you that I did. You need to talk to your spouse about this, because you can't just jar the man. I mean, you gotta be kind and gracious to the brother, okay? But for those of you that are single and you've been considering the avenues that you can take if you're considering going natural, I'll tell you what I did, but there are other ways as well that you can do it, okay? So for me, I stopped getting a relaxer. I never went back. That's been 21 years ago now. Never went back to get a relaxer from that date. I waited about 3 or 4 months. So here's what happens. All your new growth is just growing in. Now, of course, the new growth is basically whatever the texture of your childhood hair is. When I say childhood, I mean past toddler stage. I mean, you're in your good 8, 9, 10s, 11s. You need to look back at your pictures to see what your hair was. That is likely what it's going to be. Now, the reason why I say that part, this is the reason why I say that part is important, because y'all, social media is killing us in this regard. We are looking to someone else, at someone else's Instagram feed, whose hair we love. Their hair texture is beautiful. There's so many of them that I follow. Natural 85. Her name is Whitney. Lipstick and Curls, I follow her. Paging Dr. Dre, I follow her. Dr. Cami, there are many of them. The Growth Guru is another one of them. I follow all these incredible women who have these beautiful heads of hair, and I follow them mostly because they're able to do tutorials. People have been asking me to do tutorials. And I want to tell y'all, yep, there's Natural 85. I've been following her she's been doing this for like 15, 16 years now. So people have been asking me, will I do YouTube videos on hair? The answer is no. I'm not doing it. So can I just get that out here right now? I'm not doing natural hair videos. They take so much time and effort. Editing them, getting them all together, all that stuff. Tayani Ferris, the actress, she's doing some hair tutorial now. So there's so many out there. Y'all don't need me to contribute to that. So there are women that I admire so much. They're doing that. And if you watch them, you will find ways that you can style it, products that will work for it. But the problem is, if you're looking at someone whose hair texture is different from you, then you start thinking when your hair grows out, it's going to look like that girl's. And then you think that the products that work on their hair are going to work for your hair. And it can become you can become very disappointed, very disillusioned. You can become very frustrated because you really actually still aren't enjoying your hair. You're trying to get your hair to do what you see on her hair on your social media feed. So follow those people, celebrate those people, enjoy what they do have to teach you, but don't get wrapped up in the fact that my hair gonna do that. Because no, her hair texture, not your hair. Honey, you a 4C, she's a 3C. It's not gonna work out the same on your hair as it does on hers, and that's okay. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, the 3C, 3B, 3A, 2C, 4B, there is basically a, somebody help me describe it. I was going to say rating, but it's not a rating of hair. It's just a labeling of hair texture. There are labels that go with each hair texture. And so I don't even know, some people know what theirs is. I don't even really know exactly what mine is. But I will tell you that most of us that have curly hair, most of us have different textures in different parts of our hair. The hair that's on the side of my head, right over my ears on each side, is a tighter hair texture than all of the hair that goes through the middle of my head. So I have different hair textures, and most people do. Curl pattern, thank you, SR Mayfield 1, thank you. It is a kind of a labeling system for curl patterns. And so you might have one curl pattern in one part of your hair and another curl pattern in another part of your hair, and that's okay. But if you're looking at someone on Instagram and social media who has a different pattern than you, period, then you're going to be setting yourself up for a lot of disillusionment. So if you can get your hands on baby pictures, I'm sorry, not baby pictures, elementary age pictures of yourself, you will see what you're in for so that you can be prepared to enjoy what God gave you. Not your imagination of what you hope God's going to give you. Nope. It is what it is. What he gave you is what you're going to have. Okay. So I went about 4 months growing out my hair. Okay. So I'm getting new growth coming in. Now, when you get your new growth coming in, all right, and you still have permed or relaxed hair on the ends of your hair. So the rest of it's permed, but you've got new growth right here. You will find a couple of things happening. Number one, your new growth is dry. It is horribly hard to manage. It feels, it just feels, the only word I can think of is really, really dry. And part of the reason is because, which makes it less manageable. Part of the reason is because you've still got chemicals that are attached to your natural hair. Those chemicals, you better believe it, those chemicals are still sucking the moisture out. They're still drying your hair. They're still sort of in the way of your natural texture flourishing. Now, I'm going to tell you what I did. You do not have to do this, but I'm going to tell you what I did. After I got to about 4 months, I couldn't take it anymore. It felt so dry. It felt so not manageable. Your relaxed hair at that point begins to snap off. It starts breaking, which if you are growing out your natural hair, I want you to expect that. Your relaxed hair is going to start snapping off as you maybe brush it or comb it or try to style it. You're going to see your hair start breaking off and falling away. Don't be discouraged by that, actually, because it will be discouraging. It really will be discouraging because you're going to be looking at your hair in that sink like, oh Lord, I'm losing all my hair. But you want to lose all of that relaxed hair. A relaxer, for those of you that don't know, is permanent. Once it's on your hair. The only way to get rid of it is to cut it off or to grow it off and to slowly, gradually be clipping the ends of your hair as it grows off over a year or two. But it can be hard to do that because styling your hair as it grows out becomes difficult to manage this texture along with this texture, okay? So after I got about 4 months out, I had about that much new growth, okay? And I cut off all of my relaxed hair. I went to get a trim. That's what I told my husband because I think I'd convinced myself it was just gonna be a trim. Nope. If you're cutting off whatever hair you got left and it's only attached to this much new growth and you're doing what we call the big chop is what we call it, then that means that you're going to cut off everything that is not relaxed. So in the year, or that is relaxed. So in the year 2000, y'all, I did the big chop. I cut off my hair. If I were organized, I'd have a picture right now to show you of my hair when I cut it off. I will tell you, I came home and my husband was not happy. We'd only been married a year, and he was like, where is my wife? What have you done with her? Bring her back. He wasn't prepared for that. That was not fair to him. And again, I say, for those of you that are married and you're considering all this, you do need to talk to your husband and not just like throw this on him. Certainly don't tell him Priscilla said for you to go cut your hair off. I'm not saying that. Not saying that. So I cut off all that relaxed hair and I came home with about an inch of hair. So I had a little TWA. Somebody that knows what a TWA is, go ahead and put that in the comments because I know y'all know what it is. But some people don't. So y'all can help me teach the class, help me teach the lesson. So if you know what a TWA is, put that there. I had a TWA, and I will tell you how long it is because I remember. I remember that I could pull my hair and it stretched down to my first knuckle. That's how long my hair was. It went from here to here. And yes, a Caribbean beauty, you win, teeny weeny afro. Court 0619. That's what it is, girl. Yep, a teeny weeny afro. I see you, Sassy Jazz. Yep, Joy Kirby, teeny weeny afro. Kiki, yes. So my teeny weeny afro went to about right here. Now, of course, it's an afro now, so it's standing straight up to right there. All right? So I've got this much hair on my head, literally about an inch worth of afro all over my head. So if you can picture me looking more like this, that's exactly what I look like. And I came home and surprise, husband, boo. So I will tell you that I wasn't really a short hair person. I didn't love my hair like that, but let me tell you what I did love. When I came home that day after getting it cut off was one of the scariest things I ever did. Oh, and I should back up and say, I kind of already said this, but I should back up and say, I do remember the drive there. And I remember talking to the Lord and saying, oh gosh, should I do this? This is a big deal. I've never had hair that short in my life. And I do remember the Holy Spirit kind of whispering to me again. He said, if you give to me what you've damaged, I'll give it back to you bigger and better than what you had in the first place. I will never forget that, y'all. And I don't want to over spiritualize it for you. I'm just saying this is what it was for me. So I went, got it cut off, came back home, and I had this little afro. I got in the shower that evening and I let the water just run all over my head. I had never done that in my entire life. Get in the shower. Listen, black women don't get in the shower and just let water run all over their head. Let's be clear. You know them rain shower nozzle heads where it's right overhead and it comes down like a big shower? Sometimes they have those in hotels. That is not a blessing to us. Anybody home? That's not a blessing. It's cute, but it don't bless us because we don't want no water coming down straight on our head like that. We plan wash day in advance. We need a whole day set aside when we're going to wash our hair, okay? But on this day, for the first time, I stood in the shower and let my hair just be soaked, an inch of hair be soaked in all this water. And then I put conditioner in it and I got out of the shower. And when I saw my hair without the chemicals attached to it, yes, it was very liberating, whales, dolphin. When I saw my hair without those chemicals sucking the life out of it, I could not believe it. It was beautiful. The waves of it were beautiful. The curls, the tight curls on the side, the looser curls in the middle, all of it was pretty. Now I had to get over the short hair hump, but I wanted healthy hair more than I wanted natural hair. And I know for a lot of women, that's not your goal. That was my goal. That might not be your goal. I was on a healthy hair hunt and I was willing to do whatever it took to get over this hump of having patches have an issue right here. Y'all remember the days where you got to get a protein treatment and get a treatment over here and work on this and this side is breaking off. I was tired of all that. I wanted healthy hair more than I wanted to have a hairstyle that I liked. So you've got to decide what your goal is. Your goal might still be style. There's nothing wrong with that. That means decide what style you like. And if it's going to be a little bit damaging to you to do it, nobody can question the intent of your heart. And that's really all I want to get at to you. You know whether or not you're doing it because you're trying to please other people or whether it's just the style you like. Girl, if it's a style you like, wear the style you like. Enjoy your life. But if you recognize that you're actually doing things that are damaging to you because you're trying to appease people or feel included or feel a part, that's the thing that I'm saying. We all have to watch that in every area of our life. And for me, this hair situation is what the Lord used to show me that. But he put this almost militant desire on the inside of me to have healthy hair, even if I didn't like the process that was required to get there. So I see you, Junie Mosi, author. You're on a healthy hair journey. Good for you. Good for you. All right. So I'm going to tell you what I did that hopefully has helped me to have healthy hair, because my hair has thrived over the past 20 years. It has. It's thrived. The main thing I have done is that I have not had chemicals in my hair for 21 years now. I don't get texturizers. I don't get relaxers. And I'll tell you, my hair is straight right now, and I'll tell you why in a second. But I don't get relaxers, nothing. I don't put no chemicals on my hair. About 10 years into having natural hair, I did get I got some color. I thought I was going to try some color. It was a natural color that was supposed to be less harsh. And I got that color. It was just a light brown highlights. My hair was dry, brittle. I could tell that it was going to make my hair break off some more. So I grew that off and was done with that. That's the last time I ever even tried any chemicals in my hair. I'm just letting it be. The second thing that I did that over the years helped me the most, and this is going to be the hardest for many people who want healthy hair, but you like styling your hair in certain ways. I'm going to tell you, this is just for me. For the first 5 years of having natural hair, I did not put any heat in my hair. Not a blow dryer, not a curling iron, not a hot comb, not a nothing. I didn't put any heat in my hair. I feel like I have to wait and see the comments about that right there. No heat. Ooh, hashtag no heat. Somebody's taking notes. Tosh, are you taking notes, girl? Okay, so I see somebody crying about the no heat. I know, see? Yeah, I see you going like this, Brenda. No heat. So for 5 years, ouch, you right. For 5 years, I didn't put any heat in my hair. After about the 5 year mark, and I'll tell you the style that I did. Let me back up and tell you the styles that I did. So my hair was growing out from a very short place. I used to get, at the beginning, I got either wore it just in its afro, or I got comb coils. Comb coils are when a stylist will take a comb, she puts a little gel on a small portion of your hair, and she coils it around, and you just have a little curl, a little coil, a little spiral. And she does those spirals all over your head. To be honest, I didn't love it that much when she first did it. The first week or so, it kind of was just little spirals everywhere. But then after about a week, it starts to get messy and unruly. And that meant I had an afro with little coils all over the place. I liked that. So I still had to get over the hump that the style in general wasn't my flavor. But again, I was on a mission. I was okay with that. By the time I got to the 6 month mark, I had about 3 inches of hair or so. So at 3 inches of hair, what I could do was wash it and 2-strand twist sections of it. Okay. So I'll tell you what that is for those of you who may not know. Now, obviously my hair's a little bit longer now, and it's straightened right this minute. So it's not going to look the same, but 2-strand twist is basically when you take some of your hair and can't really see well. And you just twist it around itself. So it's a 2-strand twist, just like that. Okay. You can even do this, by the way, if you are growing out your natural hair. I forgot to say that. If you don't do the big chop like me, you don't have to be as drastic if you don't want to. My sister-in-law, Kanika, she just grew out her natural hair. She just kept going and let the natural hair keep going. And she would just trim the ends as she went. So eventually the new growth takes over the relaxed hair, and eventually you've clipped all the natural hair off at the end. So here's the trick if you're going to grow out your natural hair. Y'all still following me? Everybody all right? If you're going to grow out your natural hair, you've got to wear styles where your hairstyle is matching your new texture, not trying to make your new texture match your relaxed hair. Now, this is a spiritual lesson too, if you think about it. You've got to start wearing styles that match the new direction you're going. You can't keep styling your hair to match the straight stuff you're trying to get rid of. Okay? Sarah Jakes Roberts, are you in here somewhere, sis? We having a hair conversation, girl. Okay, so you got to decide if you're going to grow out your natural hair. You got to try to find styles that are going to match the curly texture of your hair. All right. So for my sister-in-law, for example, for a lot of times that what it meant was she would wash her hair and it would be wet and she would cornrow her hair and she would let it dry in flat twists or in cornrows. Okay. Once it dried and she let those cornrows out, now she's got a wavy texture. So the wavy texture is matching. Basically, she's matching the new direction she's going. And if that ain't a word for our whole lives, listen, I don't know what is. If you're going in a new direction, hey, Danny, my cousin from Germany, I love you. We've had so many conversations about natural hair, Danny and I. Let's see. Her tag right there is DNCJY. That's my cousin. She's biracial. She has a German mother and then her black father, who's my mother's brother. And so her hair is all curly, but in Germany for the longest time, even still, it's hard to find products that are for natural hair because she lives in Europe. Hey, girl. So we've talked a lot about how you do natural hair when you're in Europe or you live in a part of the world like Australia. I remember being there to see if there was anybody who could do my hair. There wasn't. Nobody knew how to do natural hair there. So you have to figure out, as you're growing your natural hair out, you have to figure out how to do styles that are going to protect the direction you're going. Okay? If you decide to keep on straightening your new growth so it keeps on matching your relaxed hair, I promise you're going to damage your new hair, which is, that's contrary to your whole goal right there. So if you keep on straightening, you run the risk of damaging your new growth. And also you're going to train your new growth to be straight. Now, for some of you, that might be, your goal might not be to wear natural styles. Your goal might just be not to have relaxer anymore. So if you don't mind training your natural hair under there to be straight, just know you're going to have a hard time doing twists. You're going to have a hard time doing curly styles, because your hair will have been so conditioned to being straightened with heat, pressing combs and that sort of thing, that you're not going to be able to have coils at the end of your hair and that sort of thing. Does that make sense, y'all? So you got to wear protective styles that go in the direction you're headed, which means you might have to wear some styles that are not your preference. And that's what I did for the first 5 years or so. I wore styles that weren't my preference, but they were headed in the direction that I'm going. They were supporting that. Hunter, Mariah 15, are braids healthy for your hair? By braids, I'm assuming you mean when we get braid extensions. The reality is that any kind of extension can be damaging to your hair. Mostly, the growth guru is here. I need to get you in on this live. If you hang out for a second with me, and if we have a second, I would love for you to come in here with me. And I'll tell y'all who the growth guru is in just a second, because she's my friend and she's amazing about hair. But where was I at? I lost my place because I got excited because my cousin and also because Whitney was in here. I lost my place. So anyway, that's what happens when you get old. So anyway, the reality is that what you have to do is choose a style that's working for the direction that you're going. If you get braids, that's where we were. If you get braids and extensions, over time, that's going to wear on your hair. A lot of times it has even more to do with the person that's putting it in. If it's tight, you'll see a lot of people who don't have a hairline. That's because that hair, the braids and extensions have been pulling on their hair. Anything tight on your head is not working in your favor. Anything tight on your hair is not working in your favor. Anything superficial that's not natural that you've added to your hair, you just run the risk if you're not careful. Okay, so you got to be careful. If you're going to add things to your hair, you have to be careful. Now again, only you know what your goals are. I knew what my goals were, and I was determined to get there. So for some of you, again, you might decide, like my mother wanted to go natural, but she didn't necessarily want to wear twist and natural styles. So she did press her new growth out as it was growing out. She did press it because she knew that even once her relaxer was gone, she was still going to want to wear a straight style. So it was okay for her to press it. So you get to decide, okay? So by the time I got to about 6 months, my hair was about that long, and I started twisting, and I would twist it while it was wet, just like this, all the way down. And at the time, you know, I only had about this much of it. I would twist it and I'd let it dry and all these twists over my head. And then after it was completely dry, which is kind of the key, you got to let it completely dry. Then I would let those twists out all over my head, and I would have a cute little curly afro that was about this long all over my head. I wore it that way for a very long time. Then after about a year or and a half, 2 years, my hair started to get longer, and my twists, because my hair was longer, I started making my twists smaller. So now, instead of big chunks of twists that I was going to take out, I would have my stylist do my hair in twists again, but she'd do them nice and small. And those twists would hang down all over my head as it grew out, okay? So they would be here. Then as my hair got longer, my twists would be here. Then my hair got longer and my twists would be here, okay? So those twists would stay in my hair for about 4 to 6 weeks at a time. All right. So for 4 to 6 weeks, I would not comb my hair, wash my hair, because it was in the twists. So for the past 15 years of ministry, a lot of people, maybe you, have even noticed that you've seen my hair in those twists a lot. And it'll be up in a ball on top of my head, and my hair is in those 2-strand twists all over my head. I've worn my hair like that so much for years now because it is what is called a protective style. Okay? Protective styling. I just saw Simply Sinead say protective styling. You've got to figure out a style that allows you to leave your hair alone. Okay? I got kind of off track earlier, but that's one of the keys that I wanted to tell you. What can you do to have a style you enjoy while leaving your hair alone? You got to leave your hair alone. For those of us with curly hair, combing it every day is antagonistic to the goal of growing out your hair. Brushing it every day, washing it every other day dries your hair out. As women of color with curly hair, we don't thrive by manipulating our hair every day, every week, day in, day out, straightening, drying, blow drying, all that stuff. It's not helpful to your hair. You got to find some style that, again, depending upon your goals, my goal was to grow my hair out in the most healthy way. So for me, I found a style that even though at the beginning of it, it wasn't my favorite style, what it did was allow me to leave my hair alone for 4 weeks at a time at least. And then after about 4 weeks of those small twists being in my hair, I'd take the twists out and my hair would have kind of basically been molded into a wavy kind of curly style. So most of what you've seen of me over the past 15 years has been either in the twists, or I took the twists out and my hair was all curly, and I'd wear it that way for about a week. Then I'd go back, wash my hair, comb it out, condition it real good, put it back in the twists, and I'm done for another 4 weeks. Does that make sense? So if you saw War Room, my hair was in a twist out. That's what it's called when you take the twists out. For those of you with, I'll try to save this live. Letters from the Kingdom, I see you. I'll try to save this live. I see someone put moisture, moisture, moisture. Yes. What protective styling also does is help to retain the moisture that is in your hair. So the more your hair, like I don't wear my hair out like this, and I'll tell you about this in a moment, but I don't wear my hair out like this often at all. And the reason why is because as our hair is exposed to the elements, and as our hair has to be combed when it's in a style like this one, that over time, not just 1 month, not just 2 months, but over time, if you're constantly wearing your hair out and it's exposed to the elements and those sorts of things, it's going to be damaging to our curly textured hair. So I still mostly wear my hair in protective styling. I probably have my hair straightened like this 2 or 3 times a year. Used to be just once a year. Now a little bit more, 2 or 3 times a year. And then I get it clipped off at the ends. Every time I straighten it, which again is just 2 or 3 times a year, I'll clip it at the ends and I wear it this way for that month or so. And then I'm getting ready. In fact, in the next few weeks, next couple weeks, I'm going to have it washed again and I'm going to have it conditioned. I sit under a hair steamer to get that moisture in there locked and sealed into my hair. And then it will be twisted. And all throughout this whole summer, My hair is going to be twisted, and those twists are probably going to be up in a knot on the top of my head or in a ponytail or whatever, but my hair is going to be locked into each other, locked into itself as to protect it, to keep me from having to comb it every day. And yeah, that's the way that I wear my hair. So I was saying, if you've seen War Room, or if you saw, let's see, Overcomer, my hair was in a twist out in both of those. When let's see, someone's asking, do I wash style my own hair or do I have a stylist? I have someone who does my hair, not because it's, not because I'm bougie, but because combing out my hair is a situation. I literally can't comb out this whole part that I can't see. It's so thick and my hair is like Velcro. So literally, if I tried to comb it out myself, I'd be ripping it out because I can't see. My stylist, my hair, the person who does my hair, I had one lady that did it for about 15 years and I still see her every now and then. Then I have another sister, Whitney, who is on this live. She does it now. And I mean, it will take her 2 hours just to comb out my hair. And she can see it from the back. So, you know, if I'm looking at the front of me, I can't see back here, it would be a disaster. So when I wash my hair, I have to get my sister-in-law, Kanika, too. She's done my hair for me before. And they'll get a section about like this big. And before they ever put a comb on it, they have to pull it apart at the roots in particular. Get it all pulled apart with their fingers before they start going through it gingerly with a comb. I'm saying that to say that, y'all, you literally, if you're going to do your own hair or you're going to have someone else do it, you got to be super patient with natural textured hair. Oh, thank you so much, Patricia Welsh. I appreciate it. Yes, Layla, girl, I'm not even playing with you. It takes her 2 hours just for the comb out, particularly right here in the crown. My hair is really dense and thick. So she'll take a little section and she'll just finger through it at the roots and get that all separated. And it's like Velcro in there. She'll get it all separated. Then she slowly combs it out. Very, very patient, very, very slowly to make sure to not pull my hair out. If I did it myself, my hair would be torn out because I can't see well enough to separate the hair without damaging it and pulling on it. So someone's asking, what's my hair porosity? Can I tell you, I don't even know what porosity means, honey. I don't know. I think I saw on something that someone let the piece of their hair sit on some water, and if it floats, then it's got porosity, and if it doesn't float, then I don't know. The growth guru might have an answer for my hair porosity. I don't even know if I'm saying that word right. So let me see, where was I at? Oh, we've gone for an hour now, so y'all forgive me. We're going long, and oh well, we'll be all right, right? What else we got to do? We're all sheltered in place. So anyway, for basically the last 15 years, that is what I have done with my hair. Thank you, Growth Guru. Medium porosity. That's what I've done with my hair. I have put it in protective stylings. I've washed it, combed it out, moisturized it, and then had it styled in a protective styling. The one that I found for me was twists. So I've worn twists at every stage, whether it was this long, this long, this long, this long, or this long. I've worn it in twists most of the year. And then I take it out for a week or two, then I get it twisted back up. So you got to find a protective style, y'all. You've got to find some moisturizing products that are going to work for your hair. And really anything, thank you, Kwan Lee, anything that has natural moisturizing agents in. And I'm going to bring Whitney on here in a second because she's really going to be able to speak to this more intelligently. Because I'm not an expert in this. I just know my own hair. What I do know is that there are many natural products out there that can be helpful to you. I've used Karen's Body Beautiful for years. Karen with a K. Karen's Body Beautiful products. I'm trying to think of, there's obviously the Curls brand is amazing. Mahisha has a wonderful brand. You can find so many options that are available to you. Those of you that are raising mixed-raced children, find a African-American friend of yours that you can really sit down and talk to. How do I get moisture in this young lady or young man's hair? Because moisture is the key for retention. And moisture is sustained when you have your hair in a protective styling, when you have your child's hair in a protective style that can help retain the moisture over the long haul. So the reality is you do need help when you're dealing with young children and adoptive children, or you're fostering children. I appreciate those of you that have come in. Oh, Design Essentials. That's another brand that is great. Those of you keep saying the brands that you found that work well for you. We can help each other in that regard. But those of you that have said, I've got mixed race children, I get a lot of comments about that. How would I advise you? I would advise you to be open to the advice of some Black women in your world that can say to you, let me help you. Let them help you, okay? Because it is different than your hair. Your child cannot have their hair washed every day. They have to have some real live good oils in their hair, which would be the opposite of what if you're European descent, the opposite is what you need to do. You don't need to put oil in your hair. Your hair creates its own oil. Ours doesn't. So we have to put oil in our hair. Nature's Blessing is a wonderful pomade that I've used for 20 years in my hair. I use it in my boys' hair. It's fantastic. Nature's Blessing. You can find it on Amazon. Buy it in a pack of 3. I love it. It smells like heaven too. And then the Growth Guru, she has a line of incredible products. I'm going to bring her on to tell you about them. This is not a commercial for the Growth Guru, by the way. Her name's Whitney. I call her the Growth Guru because that's her Instagram handle. But Whitney and I did not plan this, just so you know. She happens to just be here on the live. Yes, Morena, the Main Choice is another line that is very good. But Whitney and I didn't plan this. I don't want you to think that this is me trying to overtly promote Whitney's products. What I can tell you is that they've worked wonders for us. Not just me, but my sons. They're fantastic. She's created them herself, so they have natural products in them. And this woman knows some hair. So I'm going to see if I can get Whitney in here for a second. Let's see here. Whitney. Okay, there you are. I'm going to see if I can get Whitney, this friend. I love her so much. She's a sweet lady, mother of 3, and she knows some hair. The Growth Guru declined. Whitney, did you just decline? Did you do that on purpose? Are you trying to tell me that you ain't coming in my live to have a conversation with me? Oh, she said, give me a sec. She's probably like, girl, it's too many people up in here for you to call me on without notice. So anyway, I want you to find some products for you that have some moisture in them. And then I want you, Whitney says she just got out of the shower. Okay, go ahead, get yourself together, Whitney. It's all right, get yourself together, girl. It's okay. But if you guys see the Growth Guru here, you need to follow her because she's got lots of incredible insight about hair. I see Kanika. Kanika is my sister-in-law who does my hair. Sometimes she has straightened my hair. In fact, this straightening situation that I have right now, because I could not go to a salon, none of us could, right? We've all been doing our own hair. I knew better than to try to wash my own hair because, like I told you guys, I wouldn't be able to really comb it out well at all. It's just my arms hurt, they tired, I can't see back here, all that. Kanika did it for me. And I think we had a record this time, right, Kanika? I think it only took you 5 hours instead of 7. So I think for about 4 or 5 hours, Kanika and I were together. All right, let me see while we're waiting for Whitney. And Whitney, don't feel pressure at all. Hi, Tanisha, I see you. Don't feel pressure, Whitney, to come in if you're busy right now, sis. I'm gonna answer some questions as I'm able. Can these tips work for a more silky, curly hair type? Yes, because really what I've given you are general tips. You have got to find, if your hair is curly, that means combing it, brushing it, maneuvering it is going to make it easier for it to snap. Hair textures that aren't straight like this, as we manipulate them, they snap. So if you're trying to retain hair, you still got to find some protective styles. For many people that has been, wait a minute, y'all, hold on one second. For many people that has been U-part wigs. The Growth Guru and others are excellent. There are some U-part wigs out there, y'all, that look like your hair. And your hair is safely tucked up underneath that wig, and nobody knows that you're walking around with a U-part wig on for a little while so you can protect your hair. Here's something she said to me. Somebody's asking, what's my hair type? I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask Whitney that. She might know. But somebody said, actually Whitney said to me that your hair, your own hair on your head, is like a Bentley, like the car, a Bentley. She said, if you had a Bentley and you had a Honda or a Chevrolet or something, would you drive the Bentley every day? Or would you want to protect that? And actually, would you drive the more functional car every day and protect the more valuable car? So she's right. When I thought about it, I was like, that's a great illustration. She's like, you don't wear your own hair all the time, every day, wearing it out, putting a curling iron in it all the time, brushing it, combing it. Not those of us with curly textured hair. That's going to bring damage to our hair more quickly over time. She said, every now and then you just got to park that stuff in the garage. Leave it in the garage. Take out some other stuff that can be more functional, and you can curl it. You can do whatever you want to do to it, and it doesn't damage your hair at the same time. So we've really got to value the hair that's on our head. So anybody else, questions? How do you care for your hair when it's straightened? So like right now, my hair has been flat ironed. This is one of the 2 times this year, or 3 times maybe, that I will flat iron my hair. And honestly, I'm pretty lazy about it. I just have it like this. Most of the time I have it in a ponytail, or, you know, when I go to sleep at night, I might put it on a pineapple on top of my head, and I just have it in a ball of some sort like this, and then I go to bed. So I certainly am not curling it every day. I guess I need to say that. I'm not putting a flat iron in it every day. I'm not putting a curling iron in it every day. We have had to do a lot of filming and online things online. So I have had to have my hair kind of done for some events with the whole shelter in place thing. You know, everything's moved to online. So when I've had to do that, I do have some old fashioned hot rollers, you know, the kind that you plug in and they're in a little set. And I will put like 5 hot rollers in my hair. Those sit there for a little while. I take them out. And then because my hair it doesn't hold curl very well when it's straightened like this, because it's kind of heavy, I have some, they look like flexi rods, meaning they're those long rollers, but they're cloth, so they don't hurt to sleep in. They're smushy. And I just roll my hair up in them. They have a snap at the end. I snap them, and I'll go to bed with like 4 or 5 of them in my hair. And that helps it to retain the curl for the following day if I've got, you know, to do online Bible study or filming or something like that. But what I don't do is still put heat in my hair every day. I still don't do that. I don't put heat in my hair. It might be once a month that I put heat in my hair. So I just am adverse to that sort of thing. I know. I'm so sorry I don't have the pictures. I'll try to work on that. I'll get better at being organized. How do I handle gray hair? Girl, I don't know yet, because see, this is the only one I got. See that one right there? That's it. That's the only gray hair that I have. So I can't tell you how to handle gray hair. I will ask the growth guru the question about wigs when she comes on. Let's see here. How do I maintain protein and moisture balance? Do you use protein treatments? I don't specifically use them anymore. I think I did use them a lot when I was getting a relaxer, but you had to, because you were stripping your hair of everything with the relaxer. But now in our natural state, if we're just continuing on with But for Love, you needed to do a rollout. Yes, girl. But for those of us who are wearing our hair natural, if we just keep our hair moisturized, then that means that that moisture in and of itself, including deep conditioning treatments. I saw someone ask about that. Yes, including deep conditioning treatments. I will do those when I get my hair washed. I always do a steam treatment. Steam treatment means that it's kind of like a hair dryer, and you can get one online, but it's kind of like a hair dryer that you can sit under, but it actually creates steam. Okay, so I will have conditioner all over my hair, and then I just kind of pull it up just like this and kind of get it around like that and pin it all up and everything. And then I'll tie one of those long boot socks around my head, because sometimes it starts dripping and it's hot and it hurts and blah, blah, blah. So I tie that around my head, and then I sit under a steamer, and the steamer just lets all that moisture soak into all of your hair and retain for a longer period of time. So I try to do a steam treatment every single time I get my hair done. No matter what style I'm doing, I try to get a deep conditioner or steam treatment, because remember, I'm only doing it like every 6 weeks, not more than that. Sometimes it's 8 weeks. One question I'll ask, and then I'm going to get Whitney in here because I see that she's ready, or one question I'll answer. I do blow dry my hair one time, and that's when I get it done. So when I go get it done every 6 to 8 weeks, wash, comb out, steam treatment or deep treatment. Okay, so a good conditioner that's got lots of oils in it, and you sit under a steamer so it can kind of let it absorb. And then it is combed out slowly, patiently. Got to be real patient about that. If you don't have a Denman brush, Denman, go get one on Amazon. Denman brush, really great for helping to comb out, slowly comb out hair. Or a wet brush is another one. Kanika, let me know if I have that right. But the wet brush is helpful as well. Mostly what you need is your patience, okay? If you can't be patient with your daughter's hair, if you can't be patient with your own, you need to get a sister-in-law or a cousin or your mom and them or your aunties or a great hairdresser who can be patient with that curly textured hair. And then it is blown out. So after my hair is combed out, then it's blown out even before I put the twists in. There's several reasons for that. I'll tell you real quick, then I'll get Whitney in. The reason why I blow it out, the main reason I blow it out before I do twists is because when my hair is wet and dries on itself, it gets so tightly coiled in my roots that it is actually more damaging for me to let it dry on itself like that, because it's like Velcro trying to pull it apart when it's time to redo it. It starts to lock and become like dreadlocks. And so since I'm not locking it, which by the way is another great option for you if you want sister locks, dreadlocks, those are options. But anyway, it literally locks on itself. So when I blow it out, that at least relaxes it enough that when I twist it, it will enable it not to be so tightly coiled upon itself, which might tear it when I have to pull it apart. Hope that makes sense. Another reason why you can blow it out once every 6 weeks or so is because that lets you keep your twists, the length of your twists, okay? So shrinkage is real. Did y'all know? Did you know that shrinkage is real? It's a real thing. For those of you that don't know about shrinkage, let me inform you. That shrinkage is when a woman of color washes her hair, and when that water starts to drip out of her hair and her hair starts to dry, it goes from this right here to this right here. I kid you not. You could have 20 inches of hair that looks like 3 inches after it's wet and has dried on itself, because it shrinks upon itself. So if you want your twists, for example, or your style to retain its length, that means you've got to knock the water off of it with a blow dryer so that it will already be fairly dry, at least when you put your style in place. And in that way you can retain the length instead of shrinkage sort of causing it to draw back up again. All right. I hope this has been helpful to y'all, right? Teaching you how to get closer to Jesus and keep your crowns beautiful. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I hope it's been helpful. Let me see if I can find Whitney. There's my friend. Here she comes, y'all. I think she's coming. Hold on one second. Let me see. Let me see. Yes, y'all know about the good shrinkage. Okay, Whitney, are you coming? Y'all hang tight. How often? I'm going to let Whitney answer some of these questions. I see your questions. I'm going to let Whitney answer some of them. Whitney, did I lose you? Hold on. Let's see. Let me try again. Okay, it says that we're waiting for Whitney right now.
Hi, friend.
Girl, how are you?
Woo. I'm hot because I was trying to get ready. I was like taking a shower. I hear Priscilla Shirer say, yeah, I'm going to bring Whitney on. I'm in my towel like.
Sorry, girl.
It's okay.
How are you?
Good. I miss you. This is the longest I think I've gone. I haven't seen you.
It's been a very, look at you. You all made, you don't look like you sheltering in place. What's going on?
10 minutes. I'm still sweating from the shower. I was like.
Girl, you didn't have to get cute. We just doing the thing. I mean, you know.
Come on now.
That's the way you roll, though.
Period.
Kanika says hello.
Hi.
I see her on there. Okay, let me introduce you. I'm going to introduce you, and then I just wanted you to answer a couple of questions that people have that I don't know, because, you know, I'm not a hair expert like you are, for example. This is Whitney. Whitney is the growth guru. You can follow her on Instagram. And I first learned about her. Whitney, we actually found this out later. I think I told you this, Whitney. I found out about Whitney 6 years ago. I didn't realize it at the time that it was her, but I was on the set of War Room, and the lady who was doing our hair on War Room, and I was saying to her, you know, we're not using heat on my hair as we film this movie. Nope, you can't do all that stuff. We can twist it and we can untwist it for these shots, but that's it. And as we were just talking about hair through about the 8 to 10 weeks that we were filming, one day she she tagged me on a post. She said, you know what? I think this girl would be great for you to follow because it seems like she's on the same vein as you in terms of taking care of hair. So at the time, I didn't even realize it was you, but I learned about you 6 years ago. Isn't that something?
That's crazy. Like I was still doing like hair out of my house.
Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then all these years later, I guess it's been almost 2 years ago, as I was kind of trying to needing to shake up my own hair regimen because I could tell my hair had changed some, you know, partly with just probably some damage from some little things I was trying here and there, and I needed to kind of revitalize it. And then age, you know, age has something to do with the hormones and vitamins in our body, all the stuff. And I thought of you, and I looked you up, came to visit you. And since then, I've kind of been adhering to your very wise plan about how you help women retain their hair and grow their hair back. So one of the main questions that people have asked is, well, you know what, where I want to start? I want to start by you talking about the line of products that you've created, because we were talking about products that are available to women in terms of moisture and retaining all that they need to keep their hair healthy. So tell us what you've got.
So like 10 years ago, I started formulating my line of products. I went into the lab. My background is really like working with pharmaceutical chemists and scientists. So I kind of already understood like how that works. And then I'm also a hair nerd. So I've been like researching, you know, products and everything. I used to be a product junkie, all that stuff. So I started formulating like 10 years ago, and it's just been like a labor of love. But the problem with naturals is we don't retain moisture at all. The main problem is hydration versus moisture. So a lot of people think that we need like these heavy products and we need all this stuff to like slather it on our hair, but our hair is really not retaining moisture because it's not absorbing, I guess, the benefits of the hydration first. And so I came up with my line, Juices and Berries hair care. We have a ton of stuff coming up. We're really about to like expand really quickly, but we sold out of like everything.
Did you?
We just launched. January was pre-sales, and then I just got the products in April. We sold out. But
oh my goodness!
We have all this inventory that's coming because, you know, COVID and manufacturing and everything. So if you get a chance, order your stuff now because it'll ship in July, which is crazy. It's almost June. But anyway, hydration is key. And hydration really is a mixture of like natural proteins, water-based products, and like botanicals. And so I have a line like I'm in my office. So they were like sitting here. But these are the products, and I've actually been using this stuff on Priscilla's hair for probably like the past year. Every time I was getting like a new formulation, I've been using it on Priscilla's hair, especially the leave-in conditioners. So it smells amazing, but the key to retaining moisture is to hydrate your hair first, and then you moisturize.
So what does that look when you, help to differentiate that for someone who's like, okay, I just do my hair at home. Could you tell me if I need to moisturize and then hydrate, what does that actually mean?
Okay, so your hydration routine, like with my line Juices and Berries, we start off with a co-wash, but if your hair needs to be shampooed, we always recommend to shampoo it first. I'm still launching like the shampoos and everything from the line. So you'd want to start by cleansing your hair. I am a huge proponent of co-washing, which for those of you that don't know, it's like washing your hair with a conditioner. It's a gentle cleanse. So this right here is what we use, and I've used this on Priscilla's hair as like a rinse, kind of like after I've done her shampoo. And this has a ton of slip. Slip is so important, as you know, because you say your hair is Velcro. I say your hair just really loves itself. So to get it to kind of slide apart for us, I love products that have a ton of slip. So the co-wash is essential. And you actually detangle your hair with this end, and it keeps your hair from breaking off because of the slip. So the second thing, you know, I'm big on leave-in conditioners. And we always do a spray leave-in. It's a liquid leave-in. This like replenishes the hair because I don't know where y'all are. We're in Texas and our water's super dry. So this replenishes everything that the hard water strips from your hair. This has like quinoa in it, rice protein. It has like amla, bergamot, and so we use this first, and then we follow with a secondary leave-in. This is called the quench cream, and I've definitely used both of these on Priscilla for sure. While we were like testing formulas and everything, and her hair loves all this stuff. So this right here is fortifying, and this pretty much starts to protect your hair from like environmental stuff. And it really, like, if you have curly hair, you start to see your curls kind of come alive with the quench cream. But everything in our line and everything I use on Priscilla is lightweight. So I'm not a fan of heavy hair, never been like a fan of heavy hair. Even if you have a fro, your fro should still have life, and it should still bounce and move and all that stuff. So we always do this first. And then moisture, you can still in moisture with an oil. And we use like, we're using the her Grand Hands oil for the longest. So
Someone said, let's see, real food and drinks. She says, this sounds like a lot of work. I'm like, it's
not. It's literally like steps. It's like,
it's
you
just
cleanse
yes.
first, and then you it's like taking your vitamins. So you're going to cleanse first, and you're going to take your water, and then you're going to put the vitamins on. And then the moisture would be more like, you know, your meal, I guess.
Yes.
But
understood.
in order to retain the moisture, because if you just put like moisturizing products on your hair and it's not fully hydrated, it's going to be super dry, like as soon as your hair dries. So this like keeps your hair really soft. But it's just like taking your vitamins.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think maybe Tammy Franklin is here. Hi, Tammy, if you're here.
I miss you too, Tammy.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. There are a lot of questions about your hair. Would you please tell us about your own hair and what you do to protect your hair?
Yeah, so for me, I'm huge on like protective styles, low manipulation, low tension. Priscilla and I definitely like agree on that. I have a ton of hair personally, but I ain't got time. I'm not going to be like, we talk about, we're not gonna be brushing it every day, doing twists every week. Like, I'm not. So for me, the main rule of thumb, if my hair is dirty, I will shampoo it. If it is not, I'm probably leaving it alone. Right now I'm protecting, I have a line of natural like wigs, ponytails, U-part wigs, all that stuff. So right now I'm actually in one of my pieces that looks just like my hair, but my hair is happily marinating.
That does look just like your hair.
Yeah, my own mother can't tell the difference. So at this point, it's like pointless, you know, to take my hair out of the garage, as you would say.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
So how do you feel about wigs? Because someone was asking that. Could wigs be damaging, or do you feel like, no, they're helpful to your hair? Speak to that.
They can be very damaging if you're not wearing them the right way. So it's like anything in moderation, everything in moderation, but you have to wear it the right way. The rule of thumb is this: your skin is the biggest organ on your entire body. So if something doesn't feel right, like if the wig feels tight, or it feels like it's rubbing, or it feels like it's pulling, it is. And your skin is trying to alert you that something's wrong. So I'm not a huge fan. I know frontals are like huge, and the glue and the tape, we don't do any of that at all, but you should not feel uncomfortable. And if you do feel uncomfortable, it means you need to make some adjustments.
Got it. Okay. Sure. Now, this is something else I wanted you to speak to, because I remember sitting in your chair one day, getting my hair done, and you said, Priscilla, do you want me to do your edges? And I remember looking up at you going, I don't even really know what you mean by that. And you said, well, do you want me to lay them down? And I said, girl, no, I don't ever do that. And you said back to me, that's why you have edges. That's what you said. You said you have edges because you're not trying to lay them down all the time. So edges are a big deal, especially for Black girls. We got to get these situations figured out. So I want you to just give fair warning about what's the balance of having our edges situated, but also being mindful of the fact that situating them too much could actually be damaging.
Yeah. So here's the deal. I'm also like Priscilla. I do not care if my edges are slick or not. my edges are like this. So I'm not going to try to get them to be something that they're not. And I think that at the end of the day, that's the philosophy that I have. Like, her growing hands are my salons. And
Wait a minute,
it's a
back up. You
spiritual.
said that really quick. Her salons are called Her Growing Hands. So if you go to at Her Growing Hands, and don't forget what you were going to say, Whitney, but I don't want to go so fast that they miss that. At
Sure.
Her Growing Hands, if you follow them, you'll see that because Whitney is a boss. This is what you need to know. Whitney is busy building an entire line of products to help women with their hair, and an entire business where she's replicated herself. So any of her stylists that you see in her salons, they are all trained in this methodology where they are not interested in straightening your hair every week for you. They are not going to, and that's what you need. Even if you don't live in Dallas, you live somewhere else, but you need to find a stylist who is less interested in just letting you have straight hair and letting your edges be laid and all that. She's more interested in doing what is necessary to make your hair as healthy as it can possibly be. So for those of you wondering, you might not actually be able to get Whitney to do your hair, because Whitney is actually building a whole business and replicating herself. But any stylist you get of hers, you need to know they all use the same philosophy. Okay, go back to what you were saying.
Okay. So I'm not one of those girls who like loves sleek edges. My edges can be on like Frederick Douglass and I'm cool. Like, as long as they're there, it doesn't bother me.
As long as they're there.
As long as they're there. You know what I mean? I'm just happy that they're here. So here's my thing. When you were talking earlier about the big chop and the spirituality of it, it's so spiritual to me. Hair is spiritual to me. And I always say, like, my platform is healthy natural hair, but my ministry is self-love and acceptance. And there are so many of us women of color and women with textured hair that have so much trauma and pain behind their hair. And so my methodologies are centered around you loving yourself exactly the way that God created you to be, and you're perfect. You're perfect. Every kink, every curl, every wave on your head, he knew what he was doing when he put it there. And so for you to permanently try to change that, thinking that it's not good enough, or that it can't perform, or that your hair is not worthy, on its own, is like, it's a spiritual thing, And so that is essentially what I do. And that's why I say I'm not a hairstylist, I'm a healer. I am, like, here to breathe life into your hair, and I'm here to get you to fall in love with who God created you to be, because you're so special. And our hair is like fingerprints. It's amazing. And you have, multiple curl patterns in one head of hair. That's why I don't hair type. Hair type is healthy. I'm not a 4C, because the thing
what's your hair type? Healthy is my hair type.
Healthy is the hair type. And here's the thing. Think about this. We're such an amazing people, right? We're so just multifaceted, and we have beautiful features and all these things. How do you categorize us and put us in 4 categories with 3-4 subcategories? Like, you can go to your family reunion and see that all these different shades, all these different curls, you can line up, with your sisters and your cousins. And I mean, you know what I mean? We're amazing. And you can have one head of hair, like, you have maybe 4 different curl patterns and 3 different textures probably. Because a lot of us will have like waves over here, tight coils right here, some little, and everybody normally picks out one part of their hair. Like, why can't this part do this? And if it, but it's like our family tree. If you were to, do your DNA, you'd be like, oh, wow, 23% here, 15% here, 8% here. So why is your hair supposed to be uniform?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. I completely agree with that. And in fact, the whole point of this live wasn't to suggest to anybody who was going to watch today that you have to do it the way I've done it, or the way that you see someone else doing it. You have to decide what actually honors who God has made me to be, what actually celebrates the individuality that God has, because all of us are created in the creative genius of God is on display through each of our uniquenesses. And it's a shame when we mute that uniqueness because we're trying to assimilate or sort of fit in with the crowd. No, just go ahead and be who God has called you to be. And that doesn't mean that you can't enjoy style. Girl, if you want to wear your hair straight this day and wear a wig that day and wear a little color, do whatever you're going to do. But do you really want to damage yourself to do it? That's the question.
in like the color purple, you know, until you do right by me type thing, until you do right by your hair, until you honor your hair, you will never reach your full hair potential, period. You have to fall in love with it and you have to honor it in order to see it be its best.
Okay, so here's what you're going to do, because I see you asking again about, you guys asking about Whitney and asking about her products and that sort of thing. If you will just follow at the Growth Guru, did I get that correct? At the Growth Guru?
Yeah, it's at
Okay,
the_growth guru.
okay, at
And the products
the_growth guru.
are, yeah. Do you want me to pin it? Let me see it.
Yeah, please
I'll
pin
put
it,
it
because
in
girl,
here.
I don't even know how to do that. But the products are, she's going to give you both of those if you want to follow. And as she said, because of COVID-19, her products aren't available right now. They'll be shipping again in July, but you can pre-order now if you want to try those. But remember, no matter what products you have, because I see some people from the UK asking, do you ship over there? Do you ship internationally?
Not yet, but there's
Not
this
yet.
website called myus.com that you can actually order anything in the States from.
Okay. So the reality is, though, even if, because this wasn't, I'm so glad Whitney has mentioned her products because I can vouch for them because I use them. But this wasn't supposed to be a commercial for Whitney. Her commercial is, I want you to do what you need to do to have your natural hair, and the principles are the same regardless of what products you have at your disposal. So if for the next 2 months you don't have the products that you would want, or because you can't get them till July, or you live in Europe or you live in Australia and you haven't been able to get them in the timing you want, remember the principles remain. Wash your hair, hydrate your hair, moisturize your hair, nourish it, and put it in a protective style where you are not doing it all the time. Curly hair people, we've got to stop putting heat and utensils in our hair all day, every day. That's been
Yeah,
the main thing that has sort of saved me, is protective styling and also not combing my hair all the time.
yeah.
And
And
it
you guys
actually,
don't even know how much hair this woman has. Like, I cannot just, okay. So there's only one person in the world that I've ever met out of the thousands of people that I've touched that has more hair than you.
that sounds a little dramatic.
No, I like, but here's the thing, they don't understand your hair holds volume. Right now, your hair is straight, and look how thick it is. Like, it's not a blow dry. Like,
Yeah.
you have all the hair.
Well, I'm grateful for
Like,
people
her
like you.
juicy,
I'm grateful for people like you that are gifted in this regard and that are patient. Like, there's a certain gifting to be that patient, to go part by part, section by section. That's a great thing. So I'm grateful for you. And I'm grateful for you coming on today and like getting yourself all dolled up, girl, so you could be with us.
thank you. Look, I took 10 minutes. I was like, okay, let me, but I want to say this, like, your hair, I love your hair. I treasure your hair. I treasure, like, our relationship through your hair, but it's so much deeper than hair. And, like, for you to have a similar philosophy, as me, it's just been like a great kind of, like, collaboration, a beauty collaboration. But yeah.
Yeah. Who knew that I
It,
would end up being a beauty collaboration person?
and then when I started growing your hair out, I was like, what did I just do? Because we added on like another hour, because the longer it gets, the longer it takes us to do, but it's all good.
Yeah, I appreciate you so much, girl, and I hope to get to see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your shelter in place. It doesn't look like it's going to last very, very much longer.
I know, for real. And I'll see you soon. We'll figure it out.
All right. See you soon. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks,
Okay,
everybody.
bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Oh, that was so great. So great. Well, let's see here. It's been an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes or so, and we've just enjoyed ourselves. I hope that you've had fun. You're welcome. You all are very welcome. And remember, I see you saying you live in Bermuda, so you need to move to Texas for your hair. No, you don't. You don't. What you need to do is find products that work for your hair. Look those things up that she talked about. Hydration voice versus moisture, and how you can do both of those things. Because I didn't know the difference between those things before she told me. So those things are all going to be helpful to your hair. I see that many of you are starting to get ready to log off now. The numbers are going down. And as you do, I just want to say thank you. I hope that you enjoyed that. It took forever, but you know, why not have fun and just sort of talk about this. I don't do this often, so thanks for being a part of it. Tanisha, I'm so glad you were here, girl. It's good to see you. Tell my cousin Paul that I said hello. Hey, Katrina Inc. I will save this live. I'm also technologically challenged, but I'm going to figure out how to do that. Kanika, I also saw you earlier trying to talk about. I got four people's hair on four people heads of hair on my head. I see you because I know that was an undercover. You were scoring on me undercover. That's okay. Thank you so much again, Whitney. I appreciate you. Y'all are so welcome. Yes, I will not forget to save it. Okay, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I hope it was super helpful. Great. I'm so glad. Hey, Sylvia Wash, good to see you. Tammy, are you here? Hi, Tammy. Okay, wait. Y'all, I'm just being mischievous now. Tammy, let me see if Tammy Franklin is going to go live with me. This is my friend. Kanika, I need to come for you next. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. I'm in my closet. I'm looking a hot, funky mess,
but see, you got your protective style on your head right now.
Protective styling. Yes.
See what you've been doing with your hair for the quarantine.
You know, bye, sweetie. Say hi to Kennedy.
Hi, beautiful girl. I love you.
Love you too.
See, Kennedy will pop on a wig, honey. Earlier today she was black, and now she's blonde. I haven't quite ventured out into the wigs yet, but I'm kind of definitely wanting to try. But during the quarantine, I've just been washing. I have a steamer, so I've been steaming.
You have a steamer.
I have a steamer. I've been steaming my hair. Our hair loves the steamer.
Tammy, what brand do you have? Do you know what steamer? A bunch of people asked about the brand of steamer, and there is one called Beautiful, like beautiful, but with an H.
Beautiful makes a good steamer, but if you go on Amazon.com, they have all sorts of steamers, different price ranges. And what I would suggest you do is when you go on Amazon, scroll all the way down, and you can start seeing reviews, like real reviews, as opposed to just kind of seeing a few. You'll start seeing lots of reviews.
Okay, good. So you use yours regularly?
I would say I probably, when I'm doing good, probably once a month I steam.
That's good.
Yeah, about one. I said when I'm doing good. Yes. But yeah, and I co-washing. I do a lot of co-washing, and I think the hard part too is when, protective styles often I had to get used to, because it wasn't quite my thing.
Yeah.
I'm a silky press, and I had to just kind of get used to doing something different and doing honestly what was best for my hair. And Whitney's the way her approach to hair and talking about keeping our hair in the garage and looking at it as a prized car. I never looked at it, quite that way. But right. I'm learning that not relaxing for me personally in having, natural hair and keeping it, girl had to set it off braids are coming back this week.
Come on, set it off braids. I mean, somebody got to. Who are you? Are you Jada? You little enough. You girl, Jada.
I guess I'm Jada. But
I'll be Vivica Fox.
They're coming back this week. But I think I told Kennedy while we're still in this quarantine, I want to try on some wigs. I just want to try to have fun. So I think she and I are going to do that.
That's good. And your sweet little girl is the person to help you with it.
Girl, because otherwise, I don't know. And I'm with you, like learning all these terms and techniques, the difference between hydration and moisture was, I'm still really learning, honestly.
Yeah, because the truth is most of us we haven't had to fool with our hair, our natural hair, since we were like 10. So we all have to relearn. When you decide to go natural, you have to relearn how to do your hair, because it's totally different than when it's relaxed.
I've been natural probably for about, let me see, my son's 19. I would say probably 15, 16 years. But for the longest, I still got my hair. Straight every 2 weeks.
Yeah, you were still straightening it.
I was straightening it. And so, not to do that was.
Yes. But then you decided that the health of your hair, you could see it taking a toll. And you were like, you know what? I want healthy more than I want the style that I want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I started seeing it taking a toll on my hair, started having some thinning. And, you know, going to Whitney has completely, you know, changed my hair, but also too educating myself. I went natural kind of due to necessity, but I hadn't educated myself at all.
Yep. Yep. Somebody is asking, is anyone in here tender-headed? I am so tender-headed. It's ridiculous. Are you tender-headed, Tammy?
I'm not.
No.
No, I used to be when I was a little girl. My mom told me I was tender-headed then, but no.
Girl, all this hair that the Lord gave me on my head, and I mean, it's like a ring of fire on my head when somebody is heavy-handed and really just going through my hair quick. I can't.
Someone said Whitney. Who was that? Whitney was just on with Priscilla was just on with Whitney live.
Yeah, you'll have to go back and watch the live. It was a whole good live. Yeah, really
and
good.
then she popped me in. Yeah.
Yes, I did. Sorry, girl.
Friend, because I'm looking. I literally just got out of the shower. We went and served today, and
Good.
so I literally just got out of the shower and I was watching y'all, and I was like, okay, I'm going to accept.
Well, I knew that you would decline if you wanted to, so sorry if you felt pressure.
No, not at all, girl. I would have if I was feeling anything, I would have declined and said, friend, I am not presentable.
Don't play with me, friend. I love you, girl.
Love you. Thank you for doing this. I mean, I loved it. I literally caught the last 15 minutes. I'm going to go back and watch it again.
Enjoy. I'll see you later.
All right. Love you, friend.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.
So I see somebody asking, and I'll just hang around y'all and answer some questions and stuff because my kids are running around with their cousins. I ain't got nothing to do. So I'm just hanging out with you guys. Someone is asking what co-washing is again. It is when you use a conditioner to actually wash your hair. So it's a gentle cleanser, but it actually helps to retain the moisture. A lot of shampoos, since they're cleansing your hair, they're harsh and they actually strip the oils out too. So if you use a conditioner to wash your hair, not every time, but maybe every other time you use a conditioner, you'll be keeping in the conditioning or the moisture and the hydration and all that stuff without using the heavy, harsh stripping agents that a shampoo might have. So there are products that are co-washes. You will find co-washes, and that means that it does this. Okay, let me see where Kanika is, because you guys are asking for Kanika, and I love to talk to my sister-in-law. So hang on one second. Let me find Kanika, because Kanika she has helped me quite a bit with my hair through the years. Kanika, I'm looking for you. So send a request or whatever you do when you come on to people's lives. I'm challenged. Let me see if I can find her, y'all. So hang tight. Any tips on color? Hey, Melania. Melania, yeah, did I get that right? Hey, girl, it's good to see you. Hey, Mel Coop, do I have grays? Girl, look, I just have that one. It sprouted up in the last year. That one, that's all I got. Color, I just am not a fan of anything. I'm not a good person to ask about color and stuff because I'm not a fan of putting anything in my hair. Nothing has ever done great in my hair. Whenever I put things like that in, I regret it because it dries my hair out. It makes it it doesn't flourish as much as it could if I would have just left it alone. So I'm not a fan of that. It's good to see you, girl. Let's see. All right, let me find Kanika, y'all. She might have already gone. I don't see her. Kanika, holler at me if you're here, girl, because I don't see you. All right. Someone's asking, did I watch the documentary on Madam C.J. Walker? And listen, I'm glad you brought that up because yes, I did. And if you have not watched Octavia Spencer in Madam C.J. Walker's, in the story of Madam C.J. Walker, you really need to because it tells the story of, she was the first Black millionaire, I believe, and she sort of is credited with really moving forward the hair movement for Black women. So that's something great to watch. It's on Netflix. Okay, Kanika, I don't know why it won't let me select you. I saw the request, Kanika. Y'all hang tight. Okay, let's see here. All right, I just requested her. It says she was unable to join. I don't know what happened. Sorry, y'all. Hang on. Whoops. Let's see here. Turn that back around. Well, you guys, okay, let's see. Waiting for Kanika. Let me see if I can find her. Mm, 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 mm. Hey, girl, hey.
Hi.
Let's see your cute hair because it's a whole hair day that we're having on Instagram
Well,
today.
I haven't done anything to it today. This
It
is
looks
just
so great.
what I woke up with today.
But you just got a good haircut. Has it been 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
Maybe 3.
Okay, move the camera out a little bit so everybody can see your cute bob. Turn to the side. Ooh, ooh. Kanika, it looks so good. Okay, tell everybody why you decided to cut your hair and what your goals are right now.
Okay, so my hair used to be long. And I had a baby a
You've
little
had
over a
5
year
of
ago.
them.
I have 5, but the most recent one was about a little over a year ago. And then
Kanika, you're breaking up. Is she breaking up for y'all too? Uh-oh. I think you might have to go somewhere where your reception is a little better.
okay, is it better now?
Yes, I think it's better now. Keep going and let's try.
Okay, so a few months ago, I noticed my hair was thinning, and I asked Whitney to take a look at it. Well,
this has become like a Whitney commercial.
yes, because I have always lost a little hair right after pregnancy from hormones and stuff, but this was different than any other time. So when Whitney
And you know
looked
what?
at
I'm glad you're mentioning this, Kanika, because I saw a bunch of comments that I wasn't able to get to about postpartum. And the reality is every time, well, me too, but every time you had a baby, you would lose the hair right here at the crown of your hair on either side.
Yep. But this time it was like throughout, and that
Mm-hmm.
was different for me. And so when Whitney looked at my hair, she said it looked like I had a vitamin deficiency. And so then that made me think for a minute. And I realized that I had stopped taking my prenatal vitamins, but I was still nursing. So my body was using all of my vitamins for the baby.
Yep.
And not for me.
The baby took all you had and left.
Yep. And she was up out.
Yeah.
So I did decide to just go ahead and cut my hair to a healthy length and try to grow it back out. But I haven't had my hair this short in like probably 15 years.
Yes. And so what is your plan for growing your hair back out?
I don't know, because I'm kind of liking it short right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I should ask, what is your plan for getting it back healthy?
Well, even though my hair is straight, Priscilla will tell you, I don't do a lot to it.
You do not?
I don't wash it very often. I'm not going to say how often I don't wash it. It really is a long time though.
But it's a long time.
It's a long time. I literally smell it, and if it still smells okay and my scalp is still okay, then I just keep rolling.
And see, I think this is a mental hurdle. I'm gonna have to go close the door. Somebody left the door open, but this is a mental hurdle that a lot of people have to get over, that you're not supposed to be washing your hair every other day or every week, or it's when your hair needs to be washed, because the more you're manipulating it and combing it and washing it and blowing it out and all that, the more damage that's going to come to your hair.
Yep. And somebody asked if my hair is natural. Yes. If it gets wet, you will see the whole shrinkage situation happen.
Yes. So I don't know if you've been on here, girl, we've been on here for like almost 2 hours now. And I just told the whole natural hair story and that I did the big chop. For those of you that haven't seen it, if you want to go back and watch the whole IG live or in parts, because it's been so fun, but it has been long. Mm-hmm. Kanika, I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you were on, but I mentioned that you did it different than I did, that I chopped it all off. But my brother, who Kanika's married to, my brother was like, oh yeah, you can go natural, but you ain't finna cut your hair off like my sister did.
And you know, actually, every time I mentioned going natural, he started getting nervous because he thought the only way you could go natural was to do the big chop.
See, and I think that's a misconception a lot of people have. They think you have to cut it all off to go natural. So could you describe what you did to go natural so people can see there's another way?
So I basically just grew it. I did not cut my perm off. all at one time. I probably cut it to shoulder length, and then I would try to let it grow out a little bit at a time. But I was very careful with combing out my hair anytime I washed it. I mean, like, I took a long time to comb it out, because really the breaking point is where your natural hair meets your relaxed hair. That's usually when it's going to snap off. And honestly, a lot of people discouraged me from trying to do it that way. They were like, oh, it's not going to work. Your hair's going to get really thin and you're going to have to cut it. But thankfully for me, I was able to grow my hair for about 18 months before I cut off the entire relaxed part.
So did you just keep trimming the bottom as your hair grew out? You just kept slowly trimming the bottom?
I did.
Okay. And did you find that a lot of your hair was snapping off at the breaking point, and that you just had to relax yourself and know that you're headed toward a goal, so it's okay to watch that relaxed hair sort of snapping off?
It did, but it wasn't that bad. But I was very careful with it, and I still was not washing it that often.
Okay.
So okay. I think that helped.
Well,
and somebody asked me about working out.
Yes.
So I will say that I usually wear a headband around the edges to try to at least keep them compressed somewhat. And then I usually put it the rest in a ponytail or a bun or something like that, where the edges won't get wet and curl up.
Okay. Okay. Any other hair wisdom that you would like to share with us while I'm doing this once a year hair live that that I do every now and then? Hey, Amber Riley. Oh my gosh, Amber Riley is saying she shaved her head 3 times.
Wow.
I need to get her up on here to see what that situation was like.
You do.
So any other hair wisdom you need to share, sister-in-law beloved?
What other hair? I think you just have to do what works for you. Like, I have 3 girls, and of course all of their hair is natural, and they all have a lot of hair. So for me, like, a lot of people say, I didn't know you were natural, or you always wear your hair straight. And usually I do wear my hair straight because I need my hair to not take a lot of time, because I have to worry about these girls. So I would just say, do what works for you in a healthy way.
Yes, in a healthy way. Because I do think there is a misconception that natural hair is going to be easier.
Right.
It does not mean that. It just means it's different. And you have to be just as attentive. You have to do what works for you. But you have to know that it doesn't just mean now you don't have to do your hair no more. No, you still do. So you have to decide what works for you. And in your case, like you said, you got 3 daughters, all my nieces, all my yummy nieces.
Yep. Oh, and someone asked, what do I do with my hair at night? Yes, I do wrap it. And like Priscilla said, I'm not putting I don't remember last time I put heat on my hair. I guess when I washed it and blow dried it the first time is the last time I did it. So like during the day, if my hair starts to frizz up or something like that, then I will moisturize it and wrap it at night. And usually that will straighten it back out.
Well, there you go. I never understood that, because my hair don't straighten back out. Once there's a frizz on the way, it's all the way on the way. Thank you, Kanika.
You're welcome.
I love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
This is so great, y'all. I'm just having the best time. So I'm still not getting off. Let's see here. You guys feel free to get off whenever you need to. Let me see if I can find my friend Amber Riley. Amber totally declined this if you can't come in right now. Amber says she shaved her head 3 times. So I'm extremely interested to hear about this situation. So let me see if Amber's coming. Amber might be busy or indisposed at the moment. Amber declined. Amber is like, don't play me. I'm not coming up in here without any sort of future or notice ahead of time. So anyway, I hope that you guys have been have had fun. I hope so. I see all of you that have sent me requests, because I normally come on and pray for random people and get to meet strangers and pray with you. I'd love to be able to do that. But this time it was all about hair, and we happened to have some friends to have conversation with along the way. Amber, I see you, girl. It's okay. It's okay. You and I will talk at another time. Maybe we could talk about hair another time. So did we answer about workout and hair? I will say that I don't sweat a lot in my head when I work out, so I don't worry about it as much. Others do. And one of the ways to help keep your edges laid down is to make sure that you're wearing something over that hairline as you work out so that the humidity or the sweat doesn't get to that. And then you basically leave that there while you're showering and everything, and you don't take it off until your hair is sort of dried again. And then when you take that off, you'll still see that your edges are laid. And then we're going to have to talk to somebody that sweats a lot in their head when they work out and ask them what they do. I don't sweat a lot. So when I work out, usually I just keep on moving. So I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer for that. Lots of questions here about skincare. That's something for another day, isn't it? Maybe we'll have to do that next time. T.Ann, you don't want this to end, girl. Neither do I. I'm having so much fun. This has been great. Do I ever swim? The answer to that is yes.
I've been in here for 14 hours.
I know. My husband is like, you've been in here forever. Yeah, it's been 2 hours. Do you need me? You don't need me. Are you sure?
I don't know what you doing.
I'm just hanging out. Hey, Jesse.
You didn't realize Sean came and got his kids everything. You just didn't leave.
He's saying I'm missing our whole life. No, she didn't.
Yes, she was here.
No, she didn't. Chandria came by to see me?
Andrea.
Oh, Andrea was here? Why didn't you get me?
You over here. Talking to who knows who.
Andrea, you came by my house? I was talking to Kanika, my sister-in-law, and Whitney, and like 2,500 friends.
Mm.
And it just went a little longer than I expected. Mm. You need me, babe? Wait a minute, don't leave. Don't leave. All right, y'all. I'm so dramatic. Okay, y'all. I hope that you had fun. I'm going to get off and tend to my family who still live here, apparently. Hope y'all had fun. I'm going to see how to save this, okay, so that it will stay in my IGTV situation. And hopefully other friends who might want to watch it can watch it in stages because it's a little long. See you later. Love y'all. Bye.